Hello and Assalamu Alaikum. My name is Fatima Iqbal and I'm joined today by Christian Greiner, Lead Portfolio Manager of the Azzad Ethical Fund. Christian's firm, Ziegler Capital Management, is based here in Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for having us today, Christian.
No problem.
The objective of our conversation today is to give shareholders some insight into the fund, as well as to help them understand investing in the portfolio, the Azzad Ethical Fund. So let's get started. First, can you tell us about the quarter that just concluded?
Well, the quarter that we just got through saw some reversals of some trends that we had seen in the past few quarters. Growth stocks, for one, outperformed their value counterparts by about 1%, no matter what the cap size, large cap, mid cap, or small cap. Large cap outperformance was actually buoyed by the returns on the mega cap stocks, which for a while had been laggards. Even within the S&P 500, the top 100 stocks were lagging the bottom 400. So within the mid-cap space, where the fund primarily resides, we saw some interesting characteristics of their own. Merger activity helped drive returns in a couple areas, most prominently, of course, healthcare and technology. Transportation stocks had a great quarter, and that's usually a good sign for the broader market and consumer demand, really, in general. On the downside, the energy sector sold off in lockstep with crude oil, while the auto sector had a bad 3 months on worries that all of the very nice, large domestic auto sales that we've been seeing over the last about year and a half, that strong demand environment has finally going to start petering out.
All right. So can you give us an idea about how the fund did in particular, given these market conditions that you've just described?
Well, the fund itself had a pretty nice quarter. It returned about 0.37% for shareholders, versus minus 0.73% for the Russell Midcap Growth Index, and the minus 2.29% average manager for the Morningstar Midcap Growth universe. The drivers of the outperformance came from a couple areas. Our healthcare space, namely the pharmaceuticals, profited from a wave of mergers that have been going on for the last couple quarters, and we profited from that, but our names also had some good clinical results as well that could drive earnings performance in years to come. Our professional services names helped benefit from a strengthening employment picture that we are finally starting to see after, a year and a half of waiting for this. We're starting to see those jobs numbers really perk up. And finally, our names in the retail industry also performed well, as a couple moves that we made during the quarter have paid immediate results.
Okay, so can you give us a few of the names that may have helped or hurt the portfolio's performance?
Oh, sure. And, there's 5 names I'd like to highlight that really helped us. The first is Intermune. This is a stock that received a takeover bid from Roche on the quarter, and that caused a 67% rise in the stock. Another is Salix Pharmaceuticals. Salix has actually put together a really nice portfolio of products, both from their own pipeline and some timely acquisitions. Now they find themselves actually a takeover target for several larger names out there, and that has drove a 26% rise on the stock in the quarter. Another name, once again, another healthcare name, is Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. This is a name that we have held for a while, and they have a treatment for various vision-threatening degenerative disorders in the eyes. They also have a pipeline of other products and other indications that should help sort of diversify the profit stream and grow profits for years to come. That stock was up about 27%. Outside of the healthcare space, Skyworks Solutions. This was a semiconductor name that rose 24%. A lot of people like it because they see it as a play on the iPhone or in smartphones in general. What we like about it, and what we think is underappreciated, is the fact that it has a sort of a burgeoning auto business. So the wireless auto devices, the automakers are going to Skyworks using their technology, and that'll be a sort of a diversifier of their revenue stream for years to come. And finally, Conversant, which is a provider of internet advertising that received a takeover bid in September, and that caused about a 35% gain on the quarter for the stock.
How did you see the Azzad ethical screens impact the performance or the stock selection for this fund?
Well, that's sort of really a difficult question to put an exact number on, and we could take a look at this a couple of ways. The first of these is that the screens keep us out of several industries just by the nature of their business or the amount of leverage that most companies in it have. And for a few of those industries, namely banks, insurers, utilities, all those materially underperformed the Russell Midcap Growth Index during the quarter. The other way to take a look at it is sort of a different way, and that's to take a look at the risk factors that drove the outperformance or underperformance in the portfolio. And due to the influence of the ethical screens, we have a lower amount of exposure to leverage than a lot of managers would have in that space. And that was a big contributor to last quarter's outperformance, especially in the month of September.
What is your market outlook for the next 6 to 12 months?
Going further out, our market outlook here as a firm calls for further gains in U.S. equities. We believe earnings will grow in the high single-digit % in 2014 and 2015. That puts us below consensus of what you'll see a lot of shops saying. We realize that, however, that profit margins are near almost all-time highs, especially in large cap, driven in part by low interest expenses and the fact that muted wage growth has given capital its share of profits over a larger amount than it has in the past at the expense of labor. So further market moves higher aren't going to really be by multiple expansion, by those PE multiples moving higher. But we'll have to have actual growth of sales increasing, and then those sales flowing through the income statement to the bottom line. And that's where we'll see further growth coming from. The recent drop, of course, in the price of oil will be a boon to the U.S. consumer, which might be a nice driver, while the strong U.S. dollar actually could keep inflation lower for us here for a while.
And we'll have to leave it there for now. Many thanks to Christian Greiner from Ziegler Capital Management for taking the time to sit with us and talk to us about the Azzad Ethical Fund. Please be sure to subscribe to the Azzad Funds YouTube channel, where you can find this video and others like it. It's a great educational resource for all investors, those who are just beginning to those who are more advanced. For Azzad Asset Management, I'm Fatima Iqbal. Thank you for watching.